There was a small valley town, nestled between two gentle hills. In that town lived a carpenter named Eli. His workshop smelled of cedar and pine. He was a quiet man, known for his careful hands and fair prices. Every morning, he opened his shutters to the same view. Every evening, he swept the sawdust from his floor. His life was simple, and it was enough. Eli's peace was broken by a letter. His cousin, Arlo, arrived from the city. Arlo spoke fast, of big contracts and bigger profits. "We can be partners," Arlo said. "Your skill, my connections. We'll build an empire." Eli saw a chance to secure his future. He trusted family. He signed over his savings and gave Arlo control of the business accounts. For a season, things seemed bright. Orders poured in. Then, the payments slowed. One afternoon, Eli arrived at the workshop to find it empty. The tools were gone. The bank account was drained. A single note lay on the bare workbench. The market turned. "Sorry, cousin." Arlo had vanished. The debts, however, remained. They were all in Eli's name. The town was quiet with gossip. Eli felt their glances at the market. He stayed in his small house behind the closed workshop. He sat at his kitchen table, staring at the wall. The silence was heavy. He had no wood to work, no money for materials, and a deep shame that felt colder than the winter air. His faith, in people, in his own judgment, lay in pieces. One morning, he noticed an old, gnarled piece of oak in his backyard. It was left over, twisted and flawed, deemed useless for any customer's order. For something to do, he carried it inside. He placed it on his kitchen table. He ran his hands over its rough bark. He wasn't thinking of art or profit. He just needed to remember the feel of wood under his fingers. Slowly, he began to carve. Not to sell, but to soothe. He carved the shape of a hand, holding a small, perfect sphere. It was a puzzle, the sphere trapped inside the fingers. It required patience. The work was slow. It demanded all his focus, and in that focus, the noise of his worries faded. He finished it in a week, placing it on his windowsill where the light caught it. Mrs. Reed, his elderly neighbor, saw it during a visit. "That's beautiful, Eli," she said softly. "It feels hopeful." She asked if he might make a small keepsake box for her granddaughter. She offered to pay with the antique cherrywood shelf from her hallway. "It's just gathering dust," she insisted. Eli accepted. He turned the old shelf into a delicate box with a hidden latch. Word began to travel, not about the scandal, but about the beauty emerging from Eli's house. People brought their own forgotten wood, a broken banister, a storm-felled apple tree limb. They traded for his work, a basket of food, a new pane of glass for his window, a set of chisels from an old retiree's shed. Years later, Eli's restored workshop was prosperous again. His reputation was not for scale, but for soul. His pieces were sought after, each one unique. One day, a weary-looking man stood at his door. It was Arlo. His expensive clothes were worn thin. His ventures had failed, one after another, built on shaky ground. Arlo struggled to meet Eli's gaze. He mumbled an apology, a plea for a fresh start. Eli listened in silence. He felt no anger, only a quiet recognition of a life lived without faith in anything real. He offered Arlo a simple meal, and a small sum of money for a bus ticket. "This isn't a partnership," Eli said, his voice calm. "It's a goodbye." Arlo left, carrying the weight of his own choices. Eli returned to his bench. He watched the dust dance in a sunbeam. He had his quiet home, his honest work, and the deep, quiet trust that had grown from within. He had learned that faith was not about believing others would not fail you. It was about believing in the strength of your own hands, and the goodness that returns when you offer your true self to the world. The strongest faith is not a shield against hardship. It is the quiet tool you use to rebuild your life, piece by honest piece, after the storm has passed. What is the one small thing you can start building today, with your own hands and heart? This response is AI generated, for reference only.